Happy Oaks Day, everybody, and welcome to Woodbine Racing Live. Elisa Blow alongside Jeff Brad as we get set for a really exciting day of horse racing here in Canada. Really one of our biggest days of the year. We'll get to see the premier 3-year-old fillies of Canadian status compete on today's program, and of course the undercard is a strong one too, Jeff. We have 2 good grass races, both of them grade 2, and the plate trial that we're looking forward to as well. Now tell us about what happened though as far as the weather was concerned overnight.
Well, I was laying in bed this morning, one eye open, and I'm like, that's pretty good rain falling outside. And I was like, we have some turf races, our stakes, they'll stay on. I wasn't sure about the other races, but the good news is we are on the grass today for all races. And I think the reason is because of how fast the races were yesterday.
Yes.
So these courses needed a little bit of rain to it. So they'll have a little bit of cut. And now we have some drying conditions, a little bit of a breeze. The sun's making an appearance as well. So great news that we are on the grass for not only the stakes, but the undercard races as well.
Yeah, because really, of course, we have the 4 strong stakes today, but the undercard is quite good. The last race on the program is a good one. We have some great carryovers for the Jackpot Power Pick 6 and for the Jackpot High 5 as well.
Yeah, we're getting very close to like 6 figures in the not too distant future if they don't go. But I have a bit of an annual tradition on this day that I like to do, and this is when the geek of me comes out.
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
plant one right here.
The geek of me comes out about 99% of the time anyways, but I love to do the time comparisons and dissect the plate trial and the Oaks to try and figure out the internal fractions, the final times of the race, with the difficult trips and stuff like that, because we can overanalyze that until August the 16th.
Well, and the other thing too is, you know, depending on who wins the Oaks and how they do it, there's always that possibility that the winning filly might go on to compete in the plate trial, and we've seen that, or in the King's Plate, sorry, and we have seen that work many times.
And you know what too, that you don't get all that often anymore? It's a scale weight race, which means that all the horses carry exactly the same weights. You very, very rarely see that now in any race in North America.
That's true, that's true. Well, before we get into today, we got to talk about what happened yesterday on the program, and yesterday's track was quite interesting. Pretty speed favoring. 6 of 7 of the winners on the main track were speed horses. Only one horse came from off of the pace, and that was the winner of the opener, Back River. Yeah,
from last, as a matter of fact. Then it was nothing but speed. I mean, we had Give Me the Boots, who killed our pick 5. Maximum 50, or pick 4, I guess it was. But Maximum 50 was able to pick up the 3rd consecutive victory, attracted to claim there. But I'll tell you who was one of the really cool stories for me is this One More Brew, because when they claimed this horse, Frank DiGiulio had never been on the turf, and now they've run the horse 3 times at the grass, and that was a perfect 3 for 3 on the turf.
And that was a tough race that he won yesterday. In fact, Hall of Famer Bob Tiller had 3 winners on the program, and Daisuke Fukumoto with a couple of winners on the program as well. Let's talk about what happened this morning, and of course we did have that rain this morning, but Ernie, our clocker Ernie Perry, rated the track this morning as a 4 out of 5.
Track was closed for a little bit this morning too, as they had to tend to an issue, but that has now all been rectified. And we'll see if the track's a little quicker today than it was yesterday, because it had a 3.5 yesterday. He thought the inside was the place to be. You and I looked up this first-time starter in the not-too-distant future, that being Illyrian Amy. This is an Army mule that is bred by Dr. Rolf Davis. And how about the Hall of Famer Bob Tiller yesterday with 3 wins on the program?
Well, we had an Army mule win on the program yesterday as well. That was Dance Macabre for the Clement Barn, and Ryan Munger had a good day yesterday. He won a couple of races on the program. Best wagering race as far as Ernie Perry is concerned is race number 8, the plate trial. I think I would agree. I mean, that is pretty exciting for us. We just don't really know, you know, what we're going to see from a lot of these horses today, because the peak race obviously comes up in mid-August.
Right, and the theme that I have for all the stakes today is pace, especially in the Canadian, because there's no pace in that race at all. There's a lot of pace in the Oaks, and then you kind of have medium paces. Well, I shouldn't say that. The filly's probably going to be the speed in the Connaught, and then obviously, you know, when we look at the plate trial, trying to figure out something, maybe Umbrella Weather is going to be the speed in that race.
Could be. We have a horse coming in from Hastings as well that might say something in the early stages of the race as well. So before we get into talking about the big ones, the plate trial and of course the Oaks, we got to start in race number 4 on the card. So the 4th race will kick off our number 1 topic on today's program, which is leg 1 of The dreaded pick 4. Jeff and I, we talked to a couple of our bosses yesterday, and even they can't believe we're like 90% at 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
But we got to get 4 out of 4 because we want to play the late pick 4 today too, because that's an all stakes pick 4. But to kick off the early pick 4, we're looking at optional $40,000 claimers going 3/4 of a mile, and we both agree that Catherine Day Phillips has a great opportunity here with 4 strong wins.
Yeah, missed a considerable amount of time. Didn't run it all back in 2024, so really now is making up for lost time. And what I like is how good the horse ran last time. That shallow run was one that you and I quite liked on that day and was able to win. That's a good horse to lose to. Absolutely no shame in losing that one. And honestly, at least I just don't think this field's come up. I don't think there's any superstars in here. So I think if we just continue that forward momentum that was established, I think that 4 strong wins is going to be right there in the mix of things. Now, how can you discount anything Devin Gittins is saying out right now? He's got the 5. Don't back on your word. And don't go back on your word, I should say. And then you've got this roar of the crowd. And I'm not going to spoil our pick 4 ticket, but somebody talked me into putting this horse on our tickets.
Well, there's a couple of trainers that catch us looking, right?
Yes. Richie Morton?
Richie Morton is one of them. Dominic Pozzanelli is another, and sometimes Danny Yu, right? At least for us, they can be tough trainers for us to catch when we need them to come through. But 4 strong wins, certainly a horse that we're looking forward to seeing. And Fraser Abley back, and he's going to be back with a vengeance here today because he's missed a few days, same as Rafael Hernandez. They've missed a few days, and they're coming back to try and make up for that lost time.
And then you got Johnny Velasquez showing up on Criminal Intent. Now, is this horse going to take a lot more money because Johnny V showing up all of a sudden because we're going to have a lot of simulcast money going on. I kind of like what Johnny's doing here today as well because I always think it's nice to get an undercard racing before the stake races begin. I always think that's kind of good just to get a little warm up, get the rust out of the way. Not that he's rusty.
And everybody wants to watch him ride when he's here, right?
He rode yesterday at Monmouth, but yeah, no, for sure. It's great, always great to have Johnny V with us.
So our next topic comes up for us in race number 5 on the program, and that's the Jackpot Power Pick 6, and we talked about that off at the top of the show. This carryover is growing. I mean, it is well over $73,000 at this stage in the game. It's an optional 32 or A other than going 5.5 furlongs, and we have a field of 8 that will compete in this race. Now, there's a couple of interesting things here. First, you got these 2 Drexler horses, Pine Knoll and Giant Teddy. It's just, it feels like it's a matter of which one of the 2 you like the best. Now, I know Giant Teddy's had a little bit of time in between the last race, and the same could be said for Pine Knoll, right? I mean, Giant Teddy hasn't raced since the 18th of May, which is interesting, unless the races just haven't been going for this one, and Pine Knoll hasn't raced since June the 8th. But then we also have a horse who is really one of our stars from this season, and that's Hanlon. And I mean, this is obviously a lot tougher than when he broke his maiden for $15,000, but he just keeps on winning.
Like, he'll become our first 4-time winner of the meets, as a matter of fact. And everything they throw at the guy, he just passes. They put him in a tougher grade. He passes, he passes, he passes. And that was a massive number he got last time. And 89 for that type of caliber of competition, that's a massive figure in here. Now, I think something happened to Giant Teddy, because if you look at the work tab, he raced on May the 18th, and then it doesn't work until June the 15th. So whatever it was, maybe it was sickness. They just wanted to give him a bit of a breather because, too, he's been going all winter long as well. So maybe they just wanted to give him a bit of a breather in here. But I think you're bang on. I think they're very interchangeable horses, Pine Knoll and Giant Teddy. I had Silent Miracle on my play next time out list, but I didn't expect the horse to come back on just 9 days rest. So that worries me a little bit.
It's always a bit hard to play them when they're coming back quick, especially when we've been in the heat that we've been in lately, because you just don't know.
And he's a big horse, too.
Exactly, how they're going to bounce back.
Yeah, I just don't know. He's a cool horse to watch, so I'm hoping he runs better here today. But listen, I would love to see Hanlon keep the streak going.
I know, wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, he'd be our first 4-time winner of the meet if that happens to happen in race number 5 on the card. Next topic comes up as we get into our graded stakes events, and this is the Grade 2 Canadian, which will go as race number 6 on the card, an extended distance, 1 mile and an 1/8 on the EP Taylor turf course, listed as good, so it's going to have some cut to it. But if you were watching yesterday and you saw the Clement horse win in 1:08 and change, I mean, that track was pretty firm. So we've got now some give to it. We are still in lane 3. And this is a tough one because, you know what, Jeff, no matter which way you look at it, you cannot find the speed in here. You're like, which one is going to show the speed? Now, traditionally, I mean, at least for me, And I think you would be the same. When you think of Wesley Ward, you think of sprinters and speed horses.
Yep.
So he sends out Scarlet Poppy, who Johnny Velasquez will do the riding on, and it wouldn't surprise me to see this horse go to the front end.
I think you're bang on. I think that's the speed horse. I think Johnny's going. Because if you look back early on in this one's career, the horse was very close to the pace at the Belmont at Aqueduct meet going 6 furlongs. So I think, if they had to, she does have it in reserve where she can show speed. But you know what I just envisioned when I was handicapping this race was Danny Loisel saying at the top of the stretch, throw a blanket over him. Because they're going to be so clumped together in this spot. And it's going to be basically a sprint at the top of the lane home. And I have to give a lot of props to Ready for Cheryl for how well she ran last time out. She's so beautifully bred too. And look at the replay in here. She has to make up a lot of ground here in the Nassau. And this is her first starts with Emma aboard in a long, long time. But Emma just seems to have a great deal of synergy with this horse. So we're just going to watch this journey very, very closely. The winner's going to wire the field, that being Ocean Club. But right now we're kind of in between horses. On the inside is Blueberry Fields, who runs terrific as well on this particular case, to eventually finish in third. But we're actually going to finish that one. So it is somewhat interesting that the winner is on the front end, but the second and third place finishers are way at the back of the bus in here.
And I remember too, Jeff, that this Ocean Club horse, we thought right here, coming up to the top of the stretch, everybody would come to this horse and go past, and there was a whole other gear there.
Yeah, but as soon as Emma's got to work out some sort of trip in here too. Like she's kind of like, where do we go at this portion of the proceedings? And now she's kind of looking for somewhere to go. And this horse is trying now. She has to alter course a little bit in here. But I thought this was a real good run.
Great race.
And if you know this family well, this family, if they can mentally keep it together, they'll run their races. And I think that the fact that it's a bit of a cooler day today will help out the horse as well. But a really, really good run for this horse.
You know what? You're right on the Emma move too, because she has ridden a lot of these family members.
The quirky horses, yeah.
And they all kind of have similar traits, and so she is kind of how do you say it? She's the the Cheryl whisperer.
Yeah, no, exactly though. You're right, because this mare and this family, they can run.
Yeah.
But they have some idiosyncrasies to them.
Exactly. And they've done so well together. Interesting, it's a sweep here on the board. Everybody going towards Ready for Cheryl. And I just think this would be a cool win if Roger Atfield and Emma Wilson could come together.
So give me another, I think the reason why many of us are going towards this horse is a couple of different reasons. First of all, the last race is a toss-out. That was a yielding turf course race. And the race prior to that, only lost by 2 lengths, and She Feels Pretty was probably the best in the division right now. I realize she lost her most recent race, but it's obviously a very, very good horse. But the pace in this race, that is the headliner for me coming up.
Yeah, and
my
apologies, I said everybody's on Ready for Sure. We're all on Gimme Another, the South African horse in this event. And actually, we're going to find out some interesting stuff from Ryan Munger a little bit later on about how he got the mount here. And guess who went over to visit Cheryl?
No.
Are you sure? Yes, you're right. I'm reading the wrong thing on my script. 15-1, the price on Crivella d'Oro from Mark Cassie, who comes in off of a 7th place finish in the same race as Ready for Cheryl. Patrick Husbands will do the riding.
So I have a question about these pictures that Robert takes.
Oh, and I have something to say about the bike
Yes, you do. Who takes the actual picture?
Well, I guess just whoever's around.
Because he just randomly shows up at these barns.
I think he just says...
Do you think he has like a timer and like a tripod?
Yeah,
and just,
he probably goes and bugs one of the Sullivan girls, and he's like, would you mind taking my picture?
So do you want to tell us about the so-called bite from yesterday?
He told us all he got bit by the horse yesterday from the Steve Flint barn, right? Breaking alone. So I went upstairs, Jeff and I did. We said, can I see this bite, right? And he's like, oh, yes. Starts rolling up his sleeve. I mean, a mosquito could make a bigger
Was
bite.
it even like a puncture?
No.
Nothing.
I mean, really? Yeah, exactly. So, not so much of a bite. Race number 7 on the card is where we go to next. 7th race on the program, the Grade 2 Connaught. Of course, we're back on the E.P. Taylor turf course at 7/8 of a mile in lane 3 again. Hey, did you know, Jeff, this race is 113 years old?
Really?
Pretty amazing.
I did not know
that. And just a little stat, and I don't think you'd be able to guess this, but just a little kind of fun fact. You know, the rider who won the most Connaught Cups is Robin Platts. He won 8 of them.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
That's a good number for sure. How many fillies have won it? I wonder, because we got a pretty good one in this spot. I don't.
No, I don't know that.
You just made up a number and I would have been sold.
Yeah, but this is a really historic race here for the 113th running this season, and you get a nice big group. There's 10 to compete here. You got last year's winner in Cruden Bay, who's making the first start back of 2025. You got Kehoe Beach, which is a really interesting filly for Wesley Warren.
Yeah, so filly taking on the boys in here, and she's fast. She's so one-dimensional, and I like the fact that Joey knows her. Like, he's ridden her on more than one occasion. In her last start, the yielding course probably didn't help out her chances. And I think the rain might help out some of the other horses in this spot, because the speed was going pretty good on this course there for 2 or 3 weeks, and maybe the rain will kind of slow down the speed a little bit, but that's definitely the horse to beat. There's no doubt. She's got speed. She's can get the distance. Like, you know exactly what the game plan is going to be. It's Wesley. Like, there's no secrets here as to how good the horse is, and the barn obviously the horse comes from a very good barn as well. Now, Cruden Bay, the one thing about him last season is he only ran 3 times, and I remember his first start back, it was so amazing how fast he came home. Now, here on this particular occasion, you got to watch the slick move that Sophia puts on with this horse here with Cruden Bay. This was a year to the day, as a matter of fact, on July the 20th. And watch, this is like the 0-4 move that we saw early on when he first came here. So watch, she'll go from the rail to the 4 path like in 3 strides here once she eventually gets some racing. It's a safe move, though. She makes 100% safe, and it was the winning move. But to me, she just rode this horse with a great deal of confidence. Now, she's not riding today. It's going to be Fraser Abley in here. But right now, we're on the inside. And watch this move she's going to make. So she's on the rail, ground-saving trip. Things are going well to this point of the proceedings. And now we try to get towards the outside, and here we come. Woo. Put the signal on, and here we go. It just kicks on so nicely to pull off the win. The bad news potentially for Cruden Bay is I think this field's come up a little bit tougher this year. War Bomber is obviously a good horse. We know War Bomber very, very well. But, you know, you got this strong Wesley Ward horse here in this spot. And Cruden Bay can fire well when fresh. And that's the big thing, too. So, as you was talking with Don, he said, you know, I looked at maybe going in a prep, trying to get a race, but he's going so good right now, I didn't want to risk it. So he's going right to a stick right off the bat.
Well, the other thing, too, is you could say, well, where's Sophia? Like, why is she not riding this horse? Well, she's riding for Kelsey Danner, and she travels all over the place to ride for Kelsey Danner. So you can understand the loyalty of going to the 2-horse Shards, who ships in, and probably worth a mention, just because whatever Kelsey's brought in here to Woodbine so far this season has been a major player.
And Northern Invader, it's somewhat intriguing the horse is here now, because we were watching this horse 2 years ago thinking he'd come for the plate, and he never did come for the plate. And Sherry DeVoe now brings the horse here, gets on delay 6, and now will cut back out in distance, going 7/8 so mile. It could be a massive day for breeder David Anderson. He's got 3 horses coming up in the Oaks. He's got this horse here coming up in the Connaught as well.
Yeah, what a great day to be a breeder, right? He's got so many superstars competing on today's card. Next topic, of course, comes up for us in race number 8, and this is the plate trial. You know, it's so different here in Canada compared to what it is in the United States. As horses get ready for the Kentucky Derby, there's preps all over the United States for them, and then they all meet together for the Kentucky Derby. But here, really, this is it, right? So you prep here in Toronto, and the plate trial generally will give us a good idea of who is going to handle the actual big dance, which comes up in the middle of August. 1.1 1/8 the distance for the event, and 150 up for grabs. Now, Jeff and I were both made huge believers of Notorious Gangster after the win in the Queenston. You know, we did both agree that we really liked the horse.
We were kicking ourselves for not picking the horse last time.
Exactly. And, you know, now we get the stretch out in distance again. This horse has gone long last season, but the addition of Lasix is interesting as well.
It is, and got a great ride last time. A perfect trip, beautifully prepared by Josie Carroll. And if there's 1 or 2 trainers in this race that know how to develop plate horses, it's Josie Carroll, and it's also Kevin Attard. And here we go with this beautiful ground-saving trip in here. And it's just a question of when will Fraser get out? And he's just waiting. And the thing that's so cool about this horse, if you look at him, he's not the biggest, most physically imposing horse, but man, he is a runner. And right now, as soon as Fraser says, let's go, now he just has to find that path. The Wolf is on that one's outside. He's going to split right now, and here he comes. And Notorious Gangster, I think he really jumped on the scene obviously last year in the Coronation, but I would say this year in this Woodstock performance was very, very good. It was too short for him. And to me, Elisa, like we're going to talk a lot about distance going into the plates. This guy will run all day long. So the longer the better. We get a little bit more ground here today to go a mile and an eighth. Now there was a lot of talk about the Wolf last time out and how he was working, and we kind of got sucked into the hype and picked the horse last time out and just sort of ran so-so. So we'll keep an eye on that one. If you're looking for some pace in the race, you got Unbridled Weather. You and I both agree that Scorching's probably going to be a little bit better here today as well.
I think we'll see a good race from Scorching, yeah.
And then you have other horses in this race, like you've got a horse coming from BC in here, and you've got some price plays. Sudbury's Ghost is obviously an improving type as well, but I think it's going to be 210. It's going to be 10-2-8 or 2-8-10 or one of those. I think those are the three numbers.
Were you copying my picks?
I was.
Yeah.
I think those three horses are going to decide this race. I would think.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what? There could be the spoiler in the bunch too. There almost always is, and it is interesting when a horse comes all the way from Hastings to compete here because it's a whole different ball game in Toronto compared to what it is out there. And this is a Pat Perronte trainee now with Campos doing the riding. So yes, an exciting race.
First time gelding, which you and I like.
Yeah.
Now I was trying to figure out what the horse ran against last time out. The winner came back to win a stake, but you know what? The fifth place finisher came back to win just a 6,000 claimer.
And really, what's a stake out there? You got to put it into perspective. But there is a good move
on this horse.
Oh my goodness! Call me Sue.
I like it.
Must be named after the Johnny Cash song, A Boy Named Sue, right? Obviously.
We got a bonus picture.
We have another one?
Told, yes.
20-1 on that one. He says, call me value. I like that. Very funny.
Doug. Doug.
Nice to see him clean up for this one. 20-1 the price on Call Me Sue, who he looks very proud to bring over here today at a price. That gets us through race number 8 on today's card, which is the plate trial. And of course, we still have the big dance to talk about. But first, we'll pay the bills with a quick commercial break.
Love horse racing? HPIBet.com is Canada's leader in online horse betting. Access thousands of live races from hundreds of tracks worldwide instantly. Enjoy the most advanced betting tools like AI Smart Picks and exclusive cashback rewards you won't get anywhere else. Join today and get up to $100 in free bets. Get the ultimate horse betting experience with HPIBet.com.
This is the biggest race in the world. Pinch me, I think I'm dreaming.
They're off. This is Dubai World Cup.
And they're into the stretch. Two of the great racehorses in the world. Giant Killer, by name and by nature. A race for the ages.
Before the gates fly open, there's a stillness, like the hush before the first note. This isn't just a race, it's a performance. Every horse, an instrument, every jockey, a conductor, and every moment composed in rhythm, timing, and instinct. The gate break,
on their way in the Woodbine Oaks.
the sweeping turns, the thunder down the stretch. It all plays out like a symphony in motion. Fierce, fluid, fast. One chance to find perfect harmony. 1 minute where chaos becomes composition.
Caitlin, her greatness in front.
This is the soundtrack of speed.
Kins Concerto coming
Welcome
right
to the
down.
Woodbine Oaks.
Kins Concerto wins the Woodbine Oaks.
And our thanks to jockey Sofia Vivez for voicing over the opening for this year's Woodbine Oaks, presented by Stella Artois. Of course, we all know. And I think there was a little subtle hint there about the horse who won last year. She just created her own symphony last year with Kins Concerto, winning for Hall of Famer Josie Carroll in the Chiefswood Stables. And it was obviously a huge, exciting day for Sophia, because not only did she win that race, but she won the undercard stake, the Connaught Cup with Cruden Bay as well. So it was a great day for her. But let's look at some of the stats as we get set for the 70th edition of the Woodbine Oaks. Average payout is quite interesting, Jeff. I mean, we've had a lot of price horses over the years. $25.12 is the average win payout.
And this race does seem ripe for an upset. I know you and I like Shifty, but man, it does appear as if an upsetter could win the race. And if you look back the last 25 years, the number of Oaks horses that have gone on to run in the plate, it's quite high, as a matter of fact. Now, what about post positions? The best post is post position number 2, which is good news for Not a Trouble. Now, I'm not sold Not a Trouble wants to go that far,
Me neither,
but
yeah.
we're going to find out here today. But it is somewhat interesting that the inside draws have done very, very well when it comes to this race, too.
Yeah, and of course, we talked about this one just briefly, and we're going to get into it in depth now. But as far as both you and I are concerned, there is a lot of speed here in this race. I mean, you get speed from War Single, probably Not a Trouble will show speed. Shifty, we think, is going to change plans and have some early pace. No Time could be a speed horse. Winterberry could be a speed horse. You know, unlike other races on today's program, there is going to be a lot of early pace.
Yeah, there is. And the last local prep was the Fury, and it went well for Winterberry. It did not go well for Shifty. So if you get a chance to watch that replay, we were trying to figure out who was going to show speed on that day, and it was clear that they tried to rate Shifty, and Winterberry got to the front and just kept on going. And Shifty, she was never a happy camper.
Not happy, mouth wide open, you know, and for that reason, I think we both agree you're going to see a different style today.
Right. Now, I think if I could pick one horse to own, she would be the horse I'd want to own. I think she's got the most upside of anybody in this event. Now, does she want to go this far? How does the race unfold? All legit questions to ask in here. Now, you also, one of the other storylines is you've got the developing types in here, the Revelers Row, the Innisfree Isles. Like, they don't have a lot of miles underneath them. Can Aristella get back to the good form that we saw from last season as well? That's one of the themes, too.
Hey,
So,
what about Winterberry, too? And, you know, we know she's got some issues, you know, as far as mentality goes. She'll probably get excused from post-parade. She'll likely, you know, do her own little thing out there. But remember when she won the Fury, and I interviewed Patrick Husbands after, and I said, do you think mentally she can handle the 2 turns, and mentally she can handle the crowd here on Oaks Day? And he said, no problem.
yeah, she's a lot better, which is great, you know, because they've worked a lot with that horse just to mentally kind of put things together. Now, Innisfree Isle, let's take a look at the replay in this horse's regard, because you're going to watch this race, and visually I thought it was quite impressive, and this one defeats one by the name of Work Out a Fair. And Work Out a Fair came out of this race to win and break through with a 71 buyer.
Yeah, nice win.
So that was a good win, and they changed tactics with that horse coming from off the pace. Now, Innisfree Isle, I just think will stay the trip. I think what might get her defeated here today is just lack of seasoning, because this is just her 3rd start. And it's tough to go into the biggest race for 3-year-old fillies in Canada and just her 3rd career start. But here she comes, and you know what? We're talking a lot about distance. Can this one get the distance? Can that one get the distance? In fact, this one's proven going a mile to 16th, and I don't think we'll have any issue with the stretch out. Like, if you're looking for a live long shot on the day, I would sprinkle a couple of bucks. And Catherine Day Phillips has done very well in this race in the past.
She's won it twice. She won it in 2016 with Nashama, and she won it in 2018 with Dixie Moon. So, like you said before, when we were talking about Notorious Gangster and Josie Carroll, they know, same thing. Josie, Catherine, they know what it takes to get a horse ready for this race.
And it's not inconceivable that Fraser could win both races today.
It's not. You know, it's funny, eh? Like last year, it was really the Sofia Vivez show, and if everything kind of aligns here, it could be a Fraser Abley show today as well. So both Jeff and I, and we differ a little here, but we both agree that Shifty gets sent to the front end today, and she is a serious gate to wire.
I think you just roll the dice, and if you want somebody, if somebody else goes, so be it. Set a fast track, because I don't think she can sit.
Just don't take a whole feel of her, basically.
She'll just start fighting you and everything like that too. So let me ask you this, because you both, you and I have both picked the same horses. If you could go into the plate right now, would you rather have Notorious Gangster or Shifty?
Oh, that's a good question. Me personally, I'd rather have a Notorious Gangster. But I could see if Shifty or runs big here today, and we're basically kind of thinking she wins. But if she runs big here today, I could see her going to the plate.
Yep. Oh, no question. Mark is not afraid to run. And Mark doesn't have many boys for the plate this year.
I don't think he has one at this stage in the game because the horse that he had, Regal Guest, is scratched.
Yep.
So that makes things a little interesting if we didn't have a Cassie horse in the plate this year. Well, there you go. That's the Oaks, and it goes as race number 9 on the card today. Race number 10 is our final topic for the afternoon, and that's the Jackpot High Five again with a carryover pool that's really growing. It's well over $68,000. We're on the EP Taylor, going 3/4. We're in lane 2. It's listed as good, and you know, both Jeff and I see this race both exactly the same way. It's 110 or 10-1. You know, Arabian Prince came here last year for the grass. He went into the Pat Dixon barn, and he's been a really welcomed addition to Woodbine. He did win on the synthetic, which is great, but the last race for him was exactly what we wanted to see. Now he's got some confidence, and some of the issues with him in the past have just been that he doesn't get to the wire on it, but he's always there to help you out for seconds and thirds. But Niagara Skyline, offered up for the $50,000 price tag, is very, very interesting as well.
That is the intriguing factor. Like in the Highlander, you didn't run all that bad.
Nope.
And now all of a sudden you're going in for 50. Now is the thinking, well, we can't win that third level allowance. We have to go where we think we can win, or at 7 years of age, you're just trying to move on from this horse now. And in regards to Arabian Prince, the thing that I like about the Prince more than anything too is not only did he win last time, but look who he beat. Lucky Scores,
Lucky
a
Score.
good horse.
Yeah.
Who's going to be maybe a factor in the Connaught coming up earlier on in the program. They could have gone in the Connaught and not looked at a place Arabian Prince today.
That's true. That's true. Ricky Bobby is his stable name.
You know, I never watched that movie until about like 6 months ago.
Shake and bake, buddy.
Yeah.
That's you and me. So race number 10 wraps up the card today again with that Jackpot High Five. It's going to be a really, really busy day. So we're going to pass along some plays of the day for you right now, starting with Jeff.
So my key in the pick 3 and the pick 5 is Big Screen Boss. It's going to be a low price horse coming up in the second. I've had my watch list going for a little while. Mine's on the computer. Elisa's going to do a 10. Mine's going to be 4 Strong Winds coming up in race number 4. My off the bench play is going to be Cruden Bay, and my best bet, I'm all in on Notorious Gangster today.
Yeah, I think I'm agreeing with you on my plays of the day as well. I got Big Screen Boss for the maiden score, and I think it's a key to Gate to Wire Threat, Keyhole Beach, of course, the filly taking on the boys in race number 7. Shifty is my steal. I think this horse goes to the front end and keeps on going, and my repeat threat is good old Ricky Bobby in race number 10 on the program, Arabian Prince. We have selections for you from Ron and Doug as well. Doug's going to Kokomo in race number 3 on the program at 3-1. Ron's got 4 Strong Winds. I think we all kind of agree that 4 Strong Winds looks very, very live for Catherine Day Phillips today. And Pine Knoll is the Woodbine TV Prod top selection. We talked about that. There's the 2 Drexler horses in there, both of them coming off a little bit of a layoff to compete in that race. Clocker horses, Jeff, we got a few of them, and they're significant today because they're both horses that are in major races. The Oaks, of course, he's talking about Revelers Row. You're going to get a price on this horse, 12-1 morning line. He's talking about the work on July 13th in a minute and change, but he really was interested to point out that final quarter in 23 and 4. So that's one thing. And then Ironstone. And I do have Ironstone in my ticket of race number 10. I know he's kind of hard to figure out, right? If he's short, long, turf, synthetic, whatever it is. But he did work very well in 47 and 4 leading up to this race.
I'm glad to hear that because I looked at his first 2 races this year and I was like, maybe he's lost a step. He's not the same horse, but hopefully he bounces back with a bit of a better race this season.
It's a busy day, a very busy one, and we'll have a pick 4 to pass along your way a little bit later on in the program. Lots of interviews today. I'll be out in the paddock talking to people. We've done our homework, and now it's time to